Long ago, Steve Jobs said that technology should be like a bicycle to the mind.
What a computer is to me is it's the most remarkable tool that we've ever come up with. And it's the equivalent of a bicycle for our minds.
Taking the same notion forward, author Tiago Forte, in his book Building a Second Brain, said that with the help of today's technology, we can actually build a digital second brain, creating a brain from scratch and giving it all the superpowers we ever wanted to have. Basically, becoming like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Sheldon, that is incredible.
From your vantage point, it certainly must seem so.
Sheldon has kind of a photographic memory.
Photographic is a misnomer. I have an eidetic memory, as I've told you many times. Most recently, last year during lunch on the afternoon of May 7th.
So basically, first, let's give a close look to how our brain works. Our brain is basically storing information, our thoughts, learnings, and experiences, either in the form of photos or text. Even for photos, it is giving context in sentences from the language we are most comfortable with, usually our mother tongue. The author suggests that with the help of today's note-taking apps like Notion, Evernote, D.S.S.R.Anirudh, OneNote, etc., we can do the exact same thing. You might be like, what? What's the hype all about? I know this already. I already jot down notes. What groundbreaking thing have you learned from this book that you have come here in the video to teach me? I know that most of you might have already been jotting down points or notes here and there in your notes app, and most of you know that if we write down something, that's always more accessible than relying on our memory. But there is a certain nuance to it, and there is a certain organizational approach or certain techniques we should follow to make this notes app act like our brain. When you want to make it dynamic and make it act like actual brain, there are certain techniques and there are certain approaches that you should follow, and we'll discuss those techniques and approaches in this video. Let's begin our journey. Well, the starting point and the most fun part of building your second brain is choosing a note-taking app. This is where you lay the foundation for your second brain. Think of the note-taking app you're choosing as a central nervous system, and everything you want to remember, either the things you've learned or read or your memories, everything you want to remember as the nerve endings, which will automatically lead back and store everything in the central nervous system, which is your second brain. Don't take so much pressure on this. You can select any note-taking app, digital note-taking app that will do the job. You can use something like Notion, which is totally free, Evernote, very popular, or OneNote, or my personal favorite, Bear, or even the native note-taking app that comes on your device like Apple Notes. Any digital note-taking app will do the trick. I have a second brain which I use more aggressively personally is on Bear, and I use Bear because I like its UI, how simplistic its UI is, how simplistic and minimalistic its UI is, and how user-friendly the app is. Okay, now that we have zeroed down and fixed a note-taking app, let's proceed further. Similar to our actual brain, we don't want to fill this new brain with unnecessary stuff. And now the important question becomes, how will I know what should I be storing in this new brain? For this, the author suggests us to follow the lead of Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize winning physicist.
You asked me if an ordinary person, by studying hard, would get to be able to imagine these things like I imagine. Of course, I was an ordinary person who studied hard. There's no miracle, people.
So basically, Richard Feynman used to keep all the problems he was working on always active in his mind. So in our case, these would be our goals or things we are currently working on, like maybe learning a new skill like coding, or trying to understand investments if you're into that stuff, uh, working on the presentation which you're supposed to give in the next meeting, trying to become more fit, something like that. Any skill which we either want to build or something we want to achieve, or tasks we are currently working on. So Richard Feynman, whenever he came across any new piece of information, he would test it against the problems he was currently working on. By this method, he found the most amazing solutions in the most unexpected places. Similarly, whenever you want to remember anything, check if this information is useful for any of the problems you're currently working on. If yes, great. Make a note of it in your second brain, the note-taking app you have chosen. Remember? Now that we have zeroed down on two important aspects of our second brain, what is the app we want to use as our second brain, and what do we want to store in our second brain? The third key important aspect is to try to answer how to make these notes accessible, how to find these notes whenever we need them. These notes are completely useless if they are not accessible to us whenever we need them. Basically, the idea is that we want to replace Google. So what do I mean by that? Whenever you're working on something about which you have already read and researched long back, but it's been a while since you last visited that topic, you don't want to start your research again from scratch. That is, you go to Google and start typing that word again. That's not what we want to do. So what we want to do is, instead of going to Google, we'll go to our Notes app where we store all our notes and search and type the keyword there in the search index of that note bar, in the search box of that Notes app. The first thing we'll do after finding the note is we'll go through the summary of the note, and then we'll go through the highlighted passages. If you want to go a bit deeper and understand few specific details, we will then go through the bolded passages. And then if we want to dig completely into it, we'll go through the full note. Okay, that's all for this video, and these tips should be enough for you to get started with building your second brain. If you like the video, do hit the like button. It'll help in it'll make sure that the video reaches more people, and consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more videos like this on tips to build the lives we want. That's all for now. This is D.S.S.R.Anirudh signing off.